Progress.
All right. So there's not much to do, is there? Just to sit down and to bring awareness to breathing in and breathing out. This is the life of this moment. Please notice the contact of the body with the chair. The life in the hands, not some memory or fantasy or image of the hands, but the actual sensations of life. And each breath has its beginning. It has its middle, coming to fullness. It has its decline, and then its vanishing. The breath exists and is knowable within matter, within the body. The living matter is sensitive, and awareness arises with each in-breathing and out-breathing. At the mind door, there are other phenomena that occur, thoughts, moods. And just as we become avid enthusiasts of observing the body, so we observe thoughts, the mind. And we awaken from the various trances into being here now. This is the moment of our aliveness. Awareness arising with the body sensations and knowing them, perceiving them. Sounds arise. If we'd never heard that sound before, there could be no perception of it. There could be no knowing what it is. Likely it was rather faint at your end. A dog barked outside. And the mind somehow compares that sound with history, with memory, and identifies, perceives dog. And then it's gone. And then there is sitting here with breathing in and breathing out. The present moment is exactly as it is. That can seem like a silly statement, but the mind goes to great lengths to create a particular reality which is more pleasant, less painful, more satisfying in a way, no dukkha. And then here things are. The breath is like this. The contact of the body with the cushions or the chair is like this. The presence or not of the five hindrances, desire, aversion, restlessness, sloth and torpor, and doubt, that is like this. As well as mindfulness and concentration, we cultivate curiosity. So our meditation is not simply about calming down, making things quiet. There's also a great question mark. What's happening? What is this experience of in-breathing like, actually? And how is it that in-breathing slows down, decelerates, and then pauses, and then starts to decline, to exhale? And this goes on until it stops. And what do we do with pain and discomfort? Distraction works with minor pain, short-lived pain, but with more intense pain or chronic pain. There's another strategy, which is to turn toward it with great curiosity. Who wants to do this? It's counterintuitive. We're designed to want to get away from discomfort. It's essential in our evolutionary design. But then what if we can't get away? It's there that the practice becomes one of loving and bearing the unbearable. To turn toward the sensations which are unpleasant, which are maybe awful. To find where they exist in the body. They're not everywhere. To notice the aversion, the disliking, the striking at, the hatred of painful sensations. And to go closer, to open perception, to open the heart, to soften, to surrender. Oh, this is what this that I call pain is, this experience now. there is also a certain persistence required, a certain kind of energy or intention. I'm going to sit here with the intention of being awake to what's happening. Even when I, quote, lose interest, even when restless and agitation and worry come into the ascendant, or even when the pain gets strong, even when boredom strikes, even when I can't figure out why I'm doing this, I will sit here and be awake to what's true in this moment, to breathing in and breathing out, to whatever the mood is. Along with mindfulness, curiosity, concentration, persistence. We also bring a kind of warmth, a willingness to love, a willingness to be compassionate. And in love, there's room for everything and anything. And when that very love encounters pain, one's own or someone else's, it transforms to compassion. It's like, oh, you are hurting. You are confused. You are lonely. You are frightened. You are resorting to old coping mechanisms. Here, let me be close to you with love and compassion. And this all comes together into now, into this breathing in, this breathing out. And to support this, we could practice the ancient mantra, I love you. I love you, with your name at the end. I love you, with your name. And I'll be here for you. I will remain conscious whenever I can. And also, in the life of today, most likely many of us will encounter people who are hurting badly. And from that hurting badly, they may be acting out, sometimes badly. And our tendency is to condemn. And while we might really need to set good limits, boundaries, we don't need, it isn't required that we throw people out of our hearts. And so there we might assume an attitude something like, when I encounter someone who is acting badly, unskillfully, driven by greed, hatred, and ignorance, I aspire to hold them in sweet compassion as well, remembering just how difficult it is to be a human being and to be conscious. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. May those who are dying today be touched by our love and compassion. May those who are taking their first breath today be touched by our love and compassion. May those in positions of great suffering, great servitude, great oppression be touched by our intentions of kindness. May those who are in positions of power, privilege, may they be touched by our compassion. And may we all learn to share. May the world come to live with basic sandbox rules. Don't throw sand. Share. Get along with each other. I have a little dog eyeing me through the window. Come on. Come here. Come here. Here. Come here. Come here. All right. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Dharma Hall. I feel significantly saner. Among announcements, the one that I know for sure is that the 4th of December, which is a week from tomorrow, Candle will be offering a half day of meditations. And the information for that's on the website, on the calendar. Beyond that, Jim, should we announce something?
You haven't heard anything on the construction project recently?
Okay, I could see if these pictures.
Maybe all the pictures are on your phone.
Yeah, it is really interesting when one's tools fall apart. But I do have this. I was there yesterday. There were some more decisions to be made. Well, I think I can do this. How the heck do you do this on the phone? Pictures. Photos. Here we are. Lots of photos from that. Where is it? Well, here's the living room. The lights are there too. The lights are gorgeous. I had no idea what we were going to be getting. They were in boxes though. So here's the living room the other way. Quite a change from the horrid carpet, but there's an inch. There's the form. Well, this is pretty clear. They're not working on the ramps of late. They're certainly coming along. There's this wrinkle that they've run into, which shows up in this way. This is the door when you leave the Dharma Hall and you go into the pass-through and then go through one more door and then you're in the living room. You see that's masonry? That's what's holding up the roof there at PIMC. I've got another picture of it here closer, I think. Yes, this is the unreinforced masonry brick that is the walls of the Dharma Hall. And in order to come to code, these things are revealed as the project goes on. The masonry needed to be cut away, and a larger space had to be created, which is are you sitting down? Which is an added $11,000 expense. So at every turn, this thing, it's like I don't know what it's like. At any rate, they found a way to do it. They figured it out. It took 7 or 8 of us sat around in a circle sort of for quite a long time. And then one of the guys finally figured out how it could be done. There's a problem there. Some of you may remember there's a little step down from the pass-through down onto that little landing. There's a 4-inch step, which somehow was missed in the original drawings. and so that made a problem with the height of the door. However, this is a long way of going around to two things. One is it's possible that this stupid door is going to result in a week to 10 days to 2 weeks of delay in getting our permit to use the building, which could take us into January. And then the request, of course, as I found myself, if you won the lottery yesterday, I know where you can put some of that fantastic new wealth to good use in keeping the building open. So, what an amazing thing to create and maintain and improve upon. A place where people learn how to meditate and where they transform their lives and each other's lives. So that's the update on that. I'll know more today. Painting begins in earnest on Monday. I had to go over and look at what needs painting, and much more needs painting than we thought. The electricians went around and made interesting holes in different walls, and then as soon as you have a hole in the wall and a patch, you have to paint that wall. So it proceeds. So I think that's all I have, as though that weren't enough. Have you anything you'd like to share? I wanted to say hi to Bruce and Jill in the Yukon. Hi, guys.
Sorry, we're on mute there.
Hi there.
Hello, Jilly. So are you having 22 hours of darkness these days?
Not quite, but it's getting pretty dark.
Two things. One is we're on unique Yukon Standard Time,
So
which means we're actually an hour later than you, even though we're farther west.
I see.
And so anyway, so it's just so much darker in the morning. Like there's no light really till about 10:30 or something.
That's so wild.
And the high noon is actually about 2:30 in the afternoon if you were going by the sun.
Right.
So,
funny.
But I guess people who like to get home after work with light, they all voted that way.
I see.
Anyways.
Have you got snow?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We've been skiing, or I've been skiing.
Uh-huh. Great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, going out behind a dog skiing. That just looks like such fun.
Oh yeah. Well, our poor dog right now
is the cone of shame.
Yeah, the cone of shame. Yeah.
Why's that?
Oh, poor thing had some sort of weird growth on her face, so we're waiting to find out what that's about.
Oh boy.
So, she's not happy.
Yeah.
And she's not running in the trails right now.
I guess. We could get caught with that stupid cone.
Oh yeah.
Bashing it. That would not work.
No.
Well, lovely to see you.
Yeah, sorry to hear about all those little wrinkles with the construction. That's quite epic. Mm-hmm.
It's really epic. It's not uncommon on a major project like this. There's always, even at home.
There's similar stories here about trying to deal with the building code here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Okay, good to see you.
Take care, both of you.
Yeah.
So, anybody else have something you'd like to share? Discoveries.
There's a request in the chat asking what your T-shirt says.
Oh, how high do I have to get hit? Can you see it? When all else fails, sit quietly and breathe consciously. I was on the phone with another failed call to AT&T until 4 minutes to 7 this morning. Leanne, embarking on a 5-day retreat at home. Oh, it's Lori. Great. I think Lori. Things move around on my screen. We had a good experience here yesterday. Rita came home to visit. Jennifer went and picked her up at the care facility, and she took with her Nina, my stepdaughter. And so Rita was happy to see them and came and was with us. And the kids' dad, which is traditionally Jennifer's former partner, the father of the kids, has been with us for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And he came over, and Rita was in her element. It was wonderful to see her so happy. And yeah. And then later, my daughter Tara and her partner Dave came and were here for an hour or so. And we were all focused on Rita. And she loved it, and we did too. Glad we moved her across the country. Such a change, isn't it? When one has children, one is you're responsible for every little feature of their life, feeding them and bathing them and medical care and so on. And then sometimes, in this instance, it's true that Rita can no longer fulfill any of those functions for herself. And so she's become the recipient of all that care. It's wonderful when we can take care of each other when needed. Not everybody has such privilege, of course.
Hello, it is
Hi,
me
Leanne.
who's going on the 5-day retreat.
Is that with
At home.
Stephen? Stephen Smith?
Michelle and Steve and Jesse and
Huh.
Doreen.
Great.
Yeah, they're my original teachers for many years because I lived there, but actually started here with them at a retreat. Just wondering if I've never done a stay-at-home retreat. I've done, go to a Zendo for a week, but I'm trying to get prepared, like food and stuff like that. And they've sent us some instructions, but if anybody has advice, it starts this afternoon. And
I have a request. Would you send me the instructions they gave you for getting ready? Because I have that retreat coming up, and Jim and I have that retreat in January, and we've made it up, but it could be useful to see what they're recommending.
well, it's interesting. They have sent, in the way of instruction, is actually a chapter out of a book by one of the teachers that Jesse. I'll send you the title of the book and the chapter. I remember it's chapter 11, but I can't. It's something about gorilla meditator, but I can't remember the name of the book. But
if you'd send me a pointer at it, that'd be great.
Yes, I will. Yes, David. Michelle is it. She's it for me. Yeah. I did my first 3-day with her here when I still lived here before I moved to Hawaii. And then I had the great fortune of moving to Hawaii and getting to sit with her all the time. She's awesome. She's the originator of the rain thing that everybody uses.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tara Brock seems to have claimed it as her own, but actually it was Michelle who made it up.
Well, Tara will cite Michelle. I've seen her mention that, but she does use it and people attribute it to her.
Yeah, Sandra. I've done one of the retreats with Robert from the house, and I highly recommend it. It's delicious to be able to move through your home space, quietly and thoughtfully, and not have any distractions. I find when I go to a meditation retreat with a lot of other people that there are little distractions that are going on. There's always somebody who slams the meditation door when they're coming. So there's none of that. It's really lovely to be at home. I'm looking forward to the one that Robert's hosting in January. That'd be great. So good luck. I'm sure you'll certainly enjoy yourself.
One question, of course, to ask oneself is, what are you going to do with your phone and electronics? And putting up some little, for many people, putting up a little bit of a barrier where that is useful, like seal it in an envelope even, or put it in the glove compartment of the car, so it takes effort to get to it. And, there's some advice. I think it was one of the great old Thai or Burmese masters. Oh, it was, anyway, one of them said, when you're on retreat, become blind, deaf, and unable to speak, and eat less. So the notion of guarding the senses, simplifying, not wearing, but maybe wearing blinders. It's like, nope, I'm not. I mean, the issue around here is, oh my God, that's not finished, and oh, that's falling apart, and oh dear, and well, I could. And so one possible thing would be, if there is something you need to do, like rake the leaves or clean the kitchen, to really do it mindfully, to take it as an opportunity to be in. That's the guerrilla practice, I'm sure, that you figure out what your meditation object will be and then do the work that needs to be done. And purity is not required, For a long, long time, and I was supported in this by some of the teachers that I practice with, I really thought that the way home, the way to freedom, was through really trying hard, being tense, never straying, being very pure. And I discovered that I would do that, and then I'd crash and burn and find myself sobbing. And it makes much more sense to realize, I think, that waking up is very natural. And that what we do is create contexts in which we can be mindful.
I think for me, one of the big concerns is that it's 3 months today since Ken died, my husband, and it hasn't gotten any easier. I kind of thought it would, but so far, no. And I'm more tearful, I think, on a daily basis about everything, like a happy commercial, anything, much more emotionally labile than I'm accustomed to being. And it's weird to go into a retreat in that state of vulnerability. And I have no choice, but just kind of figuring out how to manage that and notice it and slow it down.
Well, please check your chat. I just sent you a private message. When you mention that, I find myself a little sad. And you're going to go into sadness. Whatever it is you've been trying to avoid, very sensibly, we'll be right there. And so to do it without the support of a teacher right here, without the support of a group, it's going to be hard. And you know, you'd like to have, quote, moved on somewhat by now and not be so raw. But the fact is, you really are raw. And you're not going to concentrate your way out of that. You know, the way Pema Chodron talks about the way through is down and in. And whatever is there will be forefront. And that, of course, I mean, it's the counterintuitive notion of the whole of the Buddhist training, which is that if we're willing and able to go more and more deeply in, we will, in fact, find the light again. We will find more light than we ever knew about. But, I mean, you're grieving a huge loss. So I would guess there might be room for more lying down meditation for you, or there might be room for taking an afternoon off and going for a walk in the woods, or doing that which would be the most nourishing for you. Not striving to get anywhere. I feel quite sad as I'm talking about this, that the being a human is so remarkably difficult. And most people would never think to do 5 days of solitude in the midst of grieving, because, geez, what's the point? You know, I'm just going to feel all that stuff. But that is the path. It's the way home.
I have great confidence that I'll be fine.
So do I. So do I.
It's actually like the first time I've ever, sitting and watching emotion rise up, and tears and how they feel in your face and stuff, like the physicality of the warmth and the tightness in the chest. It's actually pretty cool.
You're sounding like a Buddhist meditator. Or you're sounding like a person who's willing to be more fully alive.
If you didn't see, Robert, I did put the link to that chapter.
Thank you.
So it's chapter 11 of that book. And it takes about halfway through it to get to the actual instruction, just be forewarned.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bon voyage.
I have a quick question that maybe is also partially for Leanne, is thinking about, so I've had all these like great days where I'm like, yes, the path works and things are I can, or like I can be present. But then like this morning I was just full of doubt and like, why am I sitting here and this breathing is stupid? And so I imagine, especially on a 5-day retreat where Leanne's going to be experiencing some painful stuff, you know, there's going to be some of those like, why am I doing this? Sitting here isn't working. What's like a fast turnaround for that, you know, like a reframe for that situation?
A fast turnaround. I don't like this and I want it gone now, damn it. One of the trance states that we fall into is doubt. It's not by accident, it's there in the 5 hindrances, right? Wanting, desire, I want, this moment sucks, so I want some more pleasure. Or this moment is painful, I don't want to have that. Or restlessness, agitation, worry, remorse, the mind super busy avoiding reality through restlessness. Sloth and torpor, dullness, and there's avoiding reality through dull sleepiness. And then there's doubt, which is, I don't know, does this work? I don't want to do this. And doubt I think of as the practice killer. Because people who don't have a community fall into doubt, of course, because it comes along sometimes. And it comes along in big sometimes. And then, well, if this doesn't make any sense, then I'm not going to bother doing it today, and I'm not going to do it today. And so we fall away from the path. And that's why it's so useful to have a group and teachers. And I presume, will they be doing meetings with people, Leanne? Great. So Leanne will have an opportunity to talk to someone, but we really do need each other. And the primary antidote for all of the hindrances is awareness, to notice what it is. And then in doubt has a particular strategy, which is the company of good friends, the company of Dharma friends who can support us and say something like, wow, you're really hurting. I can see that. This is really doubt. So I encourage you to keep practicing. But then just as we turn toward pain, one of the forms of pain is doubt. And so we can turn toward the doubt. And what's it feel like to be doubting? And, you know, when the floor falls out of your worldview and you doubt the Dharma, that's painful and scary. And so we need each other. I can see that's affecting you, Denise. It's powerful, isn't it?
Hi, Robert. It's David here.
Hi, David here.
Hello, Robert. Hello, Robert there. Good morning, Sangha. So in 2015, I went through a difficult experience in which I found out that my partner of 23 years wanted to separate. And that was on the Wednesday. And then on the Friday, I went into a 7-day sit. And it was, it was challenging. It was difficult in some ways, but it was also really useful. And what I noticed happened on the retreat a lot was a lot of the suffering that arose was in anticipation of suffering. And the actual suffering that arose, as difficult as it was to work with in terms of the body or the felt sense, it wasn't as hard as the anticipation, the leaning into what was going to happen and how bad it was going to be, in many ways more difficult than the actual experience of it itself. The experience would exist in the body and then it would pass, but the anticipation and the reflection on it could just go on for a long time. So that's what I noticed in my experience. I'm not sure if that's useful for others or not, but that was helpful and to kind of see to that reality in some ways. So anyway, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Denise puts in the chat, that's what I told my son about the vaccine. The nervous knot in his stomach was worse than the shot. Yeah.
Hi, Robert. I have a question for you about what you said about
Rob.
bearing down and the effort and, really digging into it and clenching up. And you said it was more like loosening up. But then when I think about the stories of the home stretch of the Buddha when he sat down under the Bodhi tree and said, this is it, now or never. How do you kind of compare that? Because there was a sense of urgency and intention in what he was doing there to finally break through.
It's such an interesting thing. There's a story in one of the books about Ajahn Chah about a young monk. A young monk asks him a question, and Ajahn Chah says, "Do this, do this," and then another monk asks the same question a day or two later, and the young monk overhears him say exactly the opposite. And he approached Ajahn Chah and said, I don't get it. You told me to do this, and you told this other monk to do that, the opposite. What's going on here? And Ajahn Chah said, I've been walking this path for so long that when I watch someone walk it and I see they're about to fall off to the left, I say, go right, go right. And when they're about to fall off to the right, I say, go left. And so there's a dialectic between striving, making an intention, sitting down, being determined, and sitting down and doing nothing. And if one thinks about this, in the story, the mythology of the Buddha, what happened first? Mara comes along and says, what do you think you're doing, Siddhartha? And Siddhartha says, well, I'm going to wake up tonight. And Mara says, well, we'll see about that. And he presents Siddhartha, the aspiring Buddha, with the three most gorgeous sensual objects that ever roamed the planet. And whenever I speak of this, I always say, remember, this was the straight Siddhartha for whom it was women. It could be anything. It could be dark chocolate. It could be whatever you're really lusting for. So then what happened? He didn't, as I understand it, Siddhartha didn't say, I'm going to get strong and I'm going to fight this off. Instead, he opened into love and wisdom. And he then said to these temptress people, I could say, yeah, your house or mine, let's go. Or I could say, disgusting, I don't want that, the feminine. Or what he did is attributed with saying is, I see you. And I know that to be with you would be really extraordinary and beautiful. And then it would be tomorrow morning. And I'd be right back here where I am. And they vanished, right? But it wasn't through gritting his teeth and striving. It was through deep wisdom. And then the second temptation or second challenge, he's assailed by greed, hatred, by anger and hatred and jealousy and fear. And they come as armies and they fire their arrows and throw their spears. And they're all coming toward him. And what does he do? He has so much love and compassion that the spears and arrows turn into perfumes and flowers. And he's showered by love rather than, he's just not affected by these dangers in a way, by these energies. And that again is not gritting his teeth. It's simply being his true deep nature. And then the third challenge was, I like that when I tell this story, I have an hour and a half or an hour and a quarter long version of this story. I tell it with the drums. Haven't done it in a couple of years. At this point, I like to have someone in the audience call my phone. And then I let it ring a couple of three times, and then I pick it up. And people are thinking, oh, no. He's going to interrupt the Dharma talk by talking on the phone. And instead I say, hello, Mara here. Oh, Suddhodana. Siddhartha, it's your father. You're supposed to. You're the next king, and there's what was that, Suddhodana? Oh, there's armies from the east and west, and there's raping and pillaging. You're wasting your time, Siddhartha. You need to go home. And Siddhartha says, and so here's doubt, right? And responsibility. And Siddhartha reaches down with his right hand, and you see statues of this often. It's one of the 4 big postures. He reaches down and touches the ground and says, "This is the night of my awakening. I take the earth as my witness." Poof! Away it goes. There's lovely imagery sometimes that the great goddess of the earth came up and washed Mara away, and lovely, lovely florid imagery. And anyway, it was through deep practice and deep wisdom and love rather than through rigid intensity. So these are all metaphors. They're all as a teacher, I've had the opportunity to tell people, okay, this is a hard moment. You're having lots of terror, I see. And you really feel like you're going to die. This is the time to start doing 2-hour sittings. Push on. Don't stop. And then in another moment, I see what's happening. Yes, I propose that the person's all tense and striving. I propose that you take the afternoon off, skip the Dharma talk, go get a massage, go walk around the lake. Just relax. Be mindful. And they have there's moments when either approach can be the right thing. And it's hard to diagnose that for ourselves. From the inside, we get so bollocksed up, and when we really should be just backing off and resting in the beauty of our being, somehow or another, and this I've certainly had this ad nauseum, it seems like now's the time to bear down and work hard. And then sometimes when lazy, uninterested, when it would be really good to bear down and work hard, sometimes I have gotten lost on the other side. So we're brailing our way. And that's one of the reasons it's so helpful to have a teacher or spiritual friends. And to be on retreat is very helpful because we'll then get inspired. That make any sense, Rob?
It absolutely makes sense. It also reminds me of, how tasty and intoxicating metaphors are, but they're just a tool.
Right. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Well, dear friends, anybody sitting with something that you'd really like to share now? I want to go soon because I want to be the first person at the AT&T store again. Oh, I see Aaron popping. Oh, Aaron and Molly. Hey, Molly. Would you like to lead us in song today? Anybody got something else you really want to share before we go? All right, I'm going to spotlight Molly. Ooh, cool shades, Molly. What happened there? I meant to spotlight Molly. Molly and Aaron, there you are. All right, sweetie pie, whenever you're ready.
Now
Beings be happy. All beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yay. Oh, what a beautiful hug. All right, lovely friends.
Thank you.
See you on Sunday morning or Monday morning.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Trails.
Thanks, Anna.
Have a great time, Leanne.
Yeah, dive deep.
Bye now. Okay.
All right, here
Okay,
I
let's
go.
meet. All right, make it so, Robert. Make it
See
so.
you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Here we go. Whoosh. Hi, Darcy.
Hi. Hi, bye.
Hi and bye. Here we go. Prepare for the. Are you all buckled in? Prepare for the leap to hyperspace. Whoosh.